Hello everybody! We're back with the Community Team Cup match day 4 it is. So welcome everybody in stream. As always, I'm gonna go through a quick facts run for CTC. What are we doing here? So Community Team Cup in 2025, a team versus team league. We have 12 teams in total this season from 10 different communities. So we are running 2 groups with 6 teams each in it. That means 10 match days in total for the regular season from February to November, that is. Every team has one home and one away match against the other teams in their group. And by the end of the regular season, the 2 group winners, they will advance to the grand final in December, just before Christmas. We have 1 race per match day. That's roughly 45 minutes in length. Will be translated into a fixed number of laps according to the settings. Speaking of the settings, the home team, they decide the match day settings, the car, the track, the weather, multipliers and the fuel tires. Refuel stuff also available and mandatory tire compounds. For the car and the track, there is a common pool for all teams for the entire season. You have 1 track and 1 car. Once you picked it, that's gone for you for the season, but you might face it for some of the other team picks then. So that's the quick facts, but I'm pretty sure you all know it already. Let's go to the big screen. I tell you about the group standing so far. So today is a match out of Group A. We have the number 2 BFS versus the number 3 CLR after 3 match days. So looks interesting. Also, we have 2 other events running. TCR versus P1RX in Group A as well currently, and in Group B we have the top match, ZFS versus AHR on the that's on the ZFS YouTube channel. The TCR versus P1RX is on the Dream Team Racing YouTube channel. If you want to have a look there, say hello, leave a like, all the good stuff. So yeah, that's the schedule for match day 4. We had Gen X versus MRL on Friday, DTR versus ART, and RA versus P1R yesterday, and today the 3 remaining matches for match day number 4. So have a look at the settings for this one. We have the Aston Martin V12 Vantage, the Group 3 car. We're racing at the Nürburgring sprint layout, 27 laps. The multipliers, they look fairly nice. Also the weather, time of day settings. The weather not so much. It's just pouring down ROA all the way. So this means no mandatory tires. I'm pretty sure everyone will be using those heavy wets for this race. And well, quite a challenge, not gonna lie. Course. So have a look at the matchup. So both teams with 6 points, 2 wins and 1 loss so far for the season. BFS with a little bit of a better point differential for the match days. That's why they're in P2, CLR in P3. So interesting. Who will get win number 3, or will we see a draw? Never happened in CTC, but we don't know what happens, of course, in those matchups. And quickly go through the lineups for today. So a bit of a shuffle for BFS. For that I can tell, see 3 drivers from the ZFS team. They're joining the BFS team for now, but on the other hand, I think 2 BFS drivers, they joined the ZFS team for this one, so they will do a bit of a swap around for the drivers. Also 2 new drivers, I think, for CTC. That's Grantis and Jimmy Rabbit. So welcome to CTC. For CLR, we have some familiar faces: Shred, Finalized, Beetlejuice, Richie, River, and also Main Onion. I have to show you now the German driver. Oh, wait for it. So, on track, let's get rid of that. So, River had a birthday on Friday, and so that's why Jaeger is doing a little bit of a sing-along. So, if you want to join me, go on. And do it in a very sexy Marilyn Monroe style. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy belated birthday, dear River Rockers, aka the Strategy King. Happy birthday to you. Right. So, special treatment for River Rockers. I'm pretty sure you'll love that. And with that being said, so we're getting ready for the qualifying warm-up, I think. No? It's a little bit of a get used to the settings. So as usual in the qualifying, we don't have any fuel or tire wear on. So this means we should have a little bit of a different car handling compared to the actual race, where we have, of course, a full tank of fuel and also a bit of tire wear. So that's it. I think we are waiting. No, everyone is ticked in for this one. So then we go a little bit on track side and see those treacherous conditions here out on track. It's a lovely day in the German Eifel at the Nürburgring, the sprint layout. And if you watch the NLS Nürburgring 24-hour qualifiers on Saturday, it looked probably very similar. So that's what it is in Germany at times, especially at the Nürburgring. This track is known for the unpredictable weather. So, but for today, it is set. It will be like this all the way from start to finish. And I think the drivers are already waiting for that qualifying session to start. Like, everyone seems to be okay. Let's get over it with it. Looks like a short warm-up session first, then we can start the qualifying session. 10 minutes, both teams are out on track with a 30-second gap between the teams. So then Mr. Lobby Host hit the button, and then we go. Qualifying time it is. 10 minutes in the wet. And we have the first travels out on track, the Rainbow Warrior, vandalized with using all of the colors he found with the side mirrors and the end plates on that rear wing. We have Beetlejuice, and out on track Richie with some green on his car. Shred is using the yellow. Arden will be pleased to see yellow on it. We have River Rockers with some pinkish purple in between, and Onion going with the purple. It is so. The 6 CLR drivers, we have BFS out as well. It's Hudson, Grantus, my commentary buddy from various streams. So good to see you out on track for BFS. Crazy Taff. as well. Saitam, the Swedish driver, with Jimmy from Ireland, and Speed Ace from Miracle. Alright, and finalized with a big gap already. Oh, he's approaching that final chicane. Also the one you should be really aware of not collecting a penalty. And that's a fast outlap. We go on board early on with finalized. He starts the first flying lap on this session, coming out the final turn, and now revving the car. It's the Aston Martin Vantage V12 GT3 car heading down into the first turn. Smooth run out of first turn in second gear, stays in second for the left-hander, heading into the AMG Arena. Upshift to third, a wheel spin, big slide into the arena section now. Left, very slow, then right onto the power. You can run wide here a little bit. And now we don't go to the full GP track. We had the anchors into the hairpin, back onto the racing track for that shortcut version, the sprint layout. It's approaching the final sector already. So next corner very important, the downhill right. Early upshift to third gear. And now power flat out past the penalty zone. We go through the little kink, flat out, and then it is roughly before the 100, braking for the chicane. You can still cut the first part. If you hit that bollard on the exit, you're fine with track limits. And now final turn, Hyundai corner, and powering out for the first 136.4. I think that's a strong lap to start with. 35s are possible. Ritchie with a 36, River 36 as well, Shred with a 38, and Main Onion with a 38 as well. So here comes the BFS crew. So 36 for the time to beat. So far, don't think that will be the final word for that session. Hudson with a smooth run coming out of the final turn. It's a 36.6 up to P3 for now. Prentice couldn't get up there. Tracy Tap P7. You see Saitam moved up to P6 with a 37.3. Where the other drivers, Jimmy with a 38 and Speed Ace with a 41.0. So for now we have two CLR drivers leading, finalized and Beetlejuice. Then Hudson for BFS in P3, Ritchie 4th, River Ruckus in P5. Oh, with a purple sector. Should stay with the birthday boy from Friday. Yeah, let's stay with the 78. Approaching the final chicane. A bit of a wiggle. Will it be enough to improve? Will we see a 35 in qualifying? It's 5 minutes in already. We should see the next times appearing. No improvement. Ritchie improved. River also improved, but stays with a 36 at the moment. Also Main Onion with a slight improvement. Where the next BFS drivers? Is it Crazy Taff? I don't know, probably not. I think it was Hudson who was the leading BFS driver. We shall see what happens. Francis improved. Base in P7. Crazy Tab, although with 37.8 improvement, up to P8. Comes Jimmy and Speed Ace, not an improvement for Jimmy, but Speed Ace improved. So a quick run through that grid after the 2 flying laps finalized, and Beetlejuice for CLR. Richie makes it a top 3 for now for CLR. Then Hudson in P4, River in P5, Speed Ace up to P6, Saitam in 7th, Grantis 8th, and Crazy Taff in P9, Main Onion 10th, Shred P11, and Jimmy Rabbit in P12. So we have 3.5 minutes to go, so 3 more laps is possible. Not improvement for finalized. What about Beetlejuice? Also no improvement. Here comes Richie. Also a slow, maybe cooldown lap for the drivers, I don't know. Or not the conditions to really improve. Onion and Shred with an improvement, 37.7. That moves him up the order a little bit. So there's Shred up to P7. We go to the CFS Hudson, the BFS drivers coming round. It's close between Richie and Hudson. Good run for Hudson. 36.7 conditions probably tricky now. And we see Grantis improves up to P6. It is with a 37.1. See no improvement for Saitam. Crazy Tap with a penalty. Down comes Jimmy. Speed Ace improved as well, but not into the top 3. For now, improvement for Jimmy, 38.3 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Was the first lap actually the fastest one? Interesting to see. So I've been told, and I've seen screenshots, 35s are possible. Finalized, letting Beetlejuice go through, waiting for maybe better conditions. I don't know. Feel it. So Beetlejuice with an improvement, 36.4. What about Richie at 36.2? Slight improvement. Also River Rockers with a 36.288. So they are raising the bar for BFS. Shred as well. A slight improvement, P7. Onion also. Now, maybe better conditions now to set a personal best at least. So for now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for CLR. Hudson, can he move up into the top positions? It looks like a very good run. 35 incoming, looks like. Not quite. It's P3 for now, 36.3. Oh, the close gaps between River. Also Richie, River, Hudson finalized. That's 210 between the top 5. Speed Ace up to P6. For now, don't think that's an improvement on this lap. No, it was a slower one. Where is Shred? Richie. That's the end. Qualifying. Looks, where is Shred? Half a second in P7. For now, Trent is in P8. That's 8/10. And roughly a second for Saitam in P9. Jimmy 10th, Crazy Taff in 11th, and Onion with a penalty won't be improving, will be starting this race in P12. For now, there is anyone improving on that final lap? Beetlejuice up to a 36.0. Here comes the River, no improvement, but they get one more lap. So Beetlejuice with a 36.0. Where is Hudson? Can he go into the top 3 again? He looks to be the strongest driver in those conditions in qualifying rhythm, at least. Bit of a wiggle, probably not improving on this one, and that's the end of qualifying. So it's P4, but it looks for Hudson. Grant is improved as well. It's P6, P Steve probably. If no one will be improving. Finalized on a final lap. Where are the other drivers? Speed Ace P5, good improvement for Speed Ace, close to Hudson. And where is Shred for CLR? You know what he's capable of doing. He doesn't like those heavy wet conditions. He's down 4/10, so it looks like we will have a 1, 2, 3, 4 CLR, and the 36.0 will be the pole position time for Beetlejuice. Richie in second, River third, but those gaps are marginal, like really close. That is wow. So Hudson and Speed Ace for BFS, P4, P5 finalized, finishes in P6, and quickly screenshot the results. And then go to intermission. Bring up those for you. I will quickly update the spreadsheet in the background, so I have a feeling that it will be a really close encounter between the two, so I will do the points in real time as good as I can. So Beetlejuice with pole position, Richie in E2 and River Ruckus in 3. Then we have Hudson in 4th, Speed Ace E5, finalized, Stowning 6th, Prentice E7, and Shred in 8. Go to the other page. Oops, Saitam will be 9th. Will be on my sheet. Here is Jimmy E10, Crazy Taff 11, and Mail Onion E12. So interesting gaps. Oh, top 5, 6, whoa, 7, I don't know. Looks like a little bit the gap between Prentice and Shred there, nearly half a second. And Shred Satam closed enough. Bit of a gap to Jimmy, Crazy Tap, and Onion. Alright, so looks like a very promising race we should have in hand for this one. So back to the big screens, race starting soon. So I guess you can also say good luck, have a good race to the drivers. And we go 27 laps, just the info. So 27 laps times 2 the fuel and the tires, refuel rate times 3. We should not see anyone bidding for fuel. Weather R08 all the way, no mandatory tires. It should be heavy wets all the way for those 27 laps here at the Nürburgring. The sprint layout, we saw that. So I'm ready. Hope the drivers are ready as well, and hope chat is also ready to see an exciting race in the wet here for match day 4, the CTC 2025 season. It's a Gr.A match between CLR and BFS, with currently BFS sitting in P2, CLR in P3. MRL also with the same record, but they won on Friday. They will probably move up in the standings with that victory. So important for both teams to win, but only one team can win, or as I said, maybe we see a draw. It is possible. You could end in a tie. Never happened in CTC history so far in the 3rd season now. It's always the first time for something. And teams are getting ready. So am I. Our start should be interesting. Always a very crucial braking zone into the first turn at the Nürburgring. Downhill, right-hander, cold tires, wet conditions. How aggressive can you be? So as always, as the saying goes, you cannot win the race in turn number 1, but you might lose it. Still 27 laps. It's a fairly long race, so roughly 45 minutes here. And we can go into the spectate mode for the race. Good luck, everyone. Have a good race. And here we go. All the information are ready for us. On the bottom left you see the tires, the fuel, the track conditions. You see the cars, the standings. I'm ready. I have my finger pressed on the replay button. There we go. Good start for the top 2, at least. Hudson on the inside. Into the first turn we go. And deep into... Someone was very cautious. That was River Ruckus, but gets the better run. But looks Beetlejuice stays in P1. Hudson with a good move into P2. Richie third. River Ruckus P4. For now, Speed Ace in 5th, finalized. P6 Shred around the outside versus Grantis. Yes, the inside now up a position. Grantis in 8th, Crazy Taff. P9, Saitam 10th, Shimmy and Onion also there. Has to back out of it into the hairpin. We go for the first time. We have side-by-side action going on in that mid-pack. We concentrate on the lead, but Beetlejuice open up again. A slight 6th, 10th to Hudson. Richie in 3rd, River in 4th position. Speed Ace is still close. Let's get the onboard up and running. Half a second, braking for the first time for the final chicane. No drama by the looks. It's a decent run. River struggling a little bit with the power. And Beetlejuice with a poor final corner that leaves him vulnerable. But with a wheel spin, Danilux has to go defensive very early to cover the inside line. Can Hudson hang it around the outside at turn 1? He goes deep. Beetlejuice is still on the inside. It's still a drag race side by side. Hudson has the inside for the next left-hander. Better track position. Is the wet line possible around the outside? Yes, it is. Beetlejuice with more traction, keeping that position for now. Hudson stays in P2. Richie in 3rd. River in 4th. Speed Ace in P5. Then a little gap to the other drivers. Finalized P6 Shred. P7 for the 2 North American drivers for CLR. P6, P7 Grantis stays with the 2 in P8. Crazy Tap in P9 and Saitam in 10th. With Main Onion in 11th. And Jimmy dropped down to P12 for now. 2.1 seconds the gap. See those two trying to catch up with the rest of the pack. Grantis just half a second the gap. Oh, there's a CLR roadblock happening. Where to go for Grantis? Looks down the inside. Is there no possibility? No, not yet. So team play from CLR to block that attempt. Oh, something happened at the front. I see Hudson is not within the top 3 anymore. Where is Hudson? Drop down to P9. Oh, let's bring out the replay. See what happened. Oh, just overshoot that. Alright, he gets a reset. No, will he? No, he has to wait. Oh, and he gets the reset. No, unlucky moment for Hudson. He was doing so well. Keep him up at the sharp end with the top drivers. Now all the way down to P9, right in the mid-pack with his BFS team members. But that's a bit of a bubble for now. But it's still a very early doors. Lap 3 out of 27. So nothing lost, but definitely an unlucky moment. So Beetlejuice has a half-second penalty. Can he stay in the lead, or will Richie take that lead? Could be it's a second. Maybe Beetlejuice will be just fine to keep that position. Not sure how much you actually lose. That was a good run. The second, half a second served. Here comes Richie. I don't think it is enough. There won't be an attack. I'm pretty sure it will keep it clean behind. But it's half a second, 6/10 maybe you lose with that half-second penalty. So good to know if for any more penalties. Then we will see speed ace in P4 for BFS 1.1. Just inside that slipstream range. Shred and finalized for CLR in P5. P6 Gr.A is still close. In P7 Hudson up to P8 again after that nasty reset. So what's possible for Hudson? He was quick. And can they work together? Gr.A is getting out of the way by the looks for Hudson. Yeah, opening up that inside line. Probably knows that Hudson is a bit quicker, so smart decisions from Gr.A. Crazy and Saipan P9, P10, Onion, and Jimmy having a fight. Yeah, also not behind a very wide line here for CLR main Onion. I think it's still okay, but maybe dirty tires for that very, very wide line. Can he hold that inside line? Yeah, it is also still a bit of a wiggle coming out of that slow turn. And he keeps that position for now, but is under heavy pressure. Can he keep his cool? Can Jimmy go for a run? They lost a bit of time to the drivers in front to Saipan. 1.5, 1.6 second it is now. Let's go further up the order. This is interesting. Gr.A with a massive cut. Was it enough? He hit that board, so it should be okay. It was. Hudson 6/10. That gap 2 finalized. Lost a little bit of the rhythm and not as like the strong slipstream out of his teammate. So he has to go defensive probably for turn number 1. Yeah, takes the inside. Once again, we see Hudson trying to hang it around the outside. There is more grip on the outside line, a bit of contact, and Hudson goes through for now. Finalized down a position into P7. It is Gr.A with big slide there. Mad controller skills with that. So this is intense fighting in the mid-pack. Gr.A with a better run, moves his car on the inside for the hairpin, goes deep, the cutback, the switcheroo. Will they come out side by side? Yes, they do. It is still advantage for Gr.A in the number 90, and he gets in front of finalized up to P7. It is for now. Finalized has a slipstream down the back straight. It's 4/10, 5/10 though, not close enough to really send it, so Gr.A should have that position now, and Hudson with fast steps approaching, trying to go for the comeback. P6 under 2 seconds to gap to Shred in P5. That is 3 seconds to Speed Ace, who caught up with Richie. Richie maybe with a penalty. Lost a little bit of contact to River Ruckus in P2, and Beetlejuice with a 2-second lead at the moment. So for now, it's looking very good for the CLR drivers. We will choose River and Richie 1, 2, and 3. Speed Ace, the first of the BFS drivers to chase for a podium in fourth. Gets a good run out of the AMG arena. This wasn't close enough before the braking zone. Still, I think Richie feels the pressure. Oh, then again, nearly losing that car on the acceleration. That is tricky stuff. Shred with a steady race so far, 37s. And Hudson closing that gap under a second now. He's on the move. He wants to get Shred at least. Trentis also opened up a gap to finalize 1.7, 1.8 at this stage. Crazy and Saitam P9, PE10 and Main Onion in P11. Oh, gets a good run, but it looks... Oh, there was, I think, a bit of a lag contact between the two. And it's no damage, so all good. And didn't gain or lose that much. And Jimmy is still there, right behind Main Onion. Oh, we'll keep an eye on that. At the front, it's still Beetlejuice, River, and Richie. Richie versus Speed Ace, so that gap stays roughly at the 1 second mark for now. Shred with a good lap, briefly under 3 seconds, but just for a brief moment through the AMG arena, losing a little bit of time. And we see Hudson now right behind purple. He has the purple lap as well currently. Loading it. Where is the best overtaking spot? I think it has to be turn number 1. If you can stay close. And after the final turn on the main straight, you might have a look at an overtake. Half a second, that gap is a bit too big for now. It gets a good run out of chicane, brings it back to 5, 6, 10th. Shred struggling. A bit delayed throttle for Hudson, so 7/10 for now. That's not gonna happen. What about Speed Ace and Richie? 1.2 still. We go further down and see what happens to Main Onion. Is dropped down to P12 again, so a little moment. The 141.2 was right behind the other BFS drivers, Crazy Tab and Saita Thumbs, but now is just behind Jimmy Rabbit. And trying to find the focus. That's a wide line. That's pretty sure dirty tires. Don't think a penalty, but lost a little bit of the focus. Oh, and the gaps now looks like settling down a little bit between the top 3. 2 seconds plus between 1, 2, and 3. The Speed Ace trying to get back to that 1 second range, just outside of it, but keeping Richie honest, definitely. One little mistake, one little penalty, and there you go. A good chicane for the BFS driver. Brings that gap down to 8/10. I think a very cautious run for Richie. That chicane gets a decent run out of final turn and opens up that gap slightly. Then we have Shred and Hudson again, 6, 7, 10th the gap. So Shred with a good run out of the final turn, so to give him a little bit of a breathing room heading into turn number 1. So Hudson in P6, Grantis after fighting with the other cars now, a little bit of a gap in front and behind. So good news is he has nearly 5 seconds to finalize in P7, but also like the gap to his teammate 2.3. But that's not coming down at all. And finalize struggling a little bit with the traction of this Aston Martin. The side time now with the good laps, a personal best 37.8, getting into that rhythm. Just 2 seconds again to finalize in P8. So what is possible? Crazy to have with a 1 minute 40.3, a bit of a slower lap last time around, lost a little bit of contact and momentum, and yeah, we saw it last lap round. Maynard a bit out of shape. It's 2.5 seconds from now. It's the end of lap number 9, so close to a third of this race. And we have a battle this time. Shred not with the best exit out of the final turn. It's Hudson on the inside, T number 1, and should get that position. Or can Shred go for the cutback? He tries to go for it, and Hudson covers that line. But now up to P5, textbook move at the Nürburgring. Doesn't matter if it's dry or wet. Well executed and covered that cutback attempt. So it's P5 again. The comeback continues for Hudson Shred. In P6, can he stay with the BFS driver for a little while? It's 2 seconds to Grantis, maybe, so he can use Hudson as a reference. Finalized. The gap is coming down between the CLR driver and the BFS driver. Finalized versus side time under 2 seconds now. Also, this is far from over. At the sharp end, we see Beetlejuice with the fastest lap of the race as well, a 36.0. He's in the zone definitely now, pulling away from his teammate River. And Richie with personal best as well, 36.5, and opened up that gap to Speed Ace, nearly 2 seconds now. And Hudson could open up that gap. No immediate pressure from behind, but it is Grantis with a good run, 36.7 last round. He is pushing. He wants to get closer to Shred. Let's go on board and get an impression about the really tricky conditions today. So where does he lose or gain some time? Improving again on his personal best. And it's just a second. He has a target, definitely now. Gets a good run under a second, improving on his personal best as well. Looks to be like a mid 36. What about the chicane? Aggressive downshifting into first gear. Alright, interesting, using the engine brakes, but it looks he struggles a little bit with the traction now. Traction control kicking in. It's 1.2, 1.3. Not ideal. A bit too aggressive for my liking, but still a good lap, keeping that gap roughly at the 1.3 second mark. And Shred dropping out of that slipstream range now, but it looks, I think after turn 1, Hudson will be free. No immediate pressure anymore. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's 1.3 Shred with a good lap so far. Finalized versus side time, gap hovering between 1.5 and 2 seconds. at the moment. Jimmy ribbon up to P10. Tracy Tab with a moment. Again, drop the position. This brings Medonian back into the fight for P10, I reckon. 1.1 again, a very wide line over the grass. It's still a bit tricky then to get into that hairpin and don't run wide with dirty tires. Gets that gap down to a second. And Speed Ace Hudson is also closing in on his teammate. Speed Ace keeps that gap stable, steady at 2.5 seconds for now, but not really gaining. One of the fastest drivers definitely at the moment is Hudson. T5, T4, definitely doable if they want to play the team order. Again, we saw that earlier on with Drantis versus Hudson. And Drantis, he was closer already. Maybe got a little bit too excited. 1.5, 6, 7, depending where that delta updates. Coming off the arena, that's probably the gap we are looking at, 1.6. So, staying close to Shred, who has a massive tank slapper coming out of the happen. Another one that is costly and instantly loses half a second. And this is now again the opportunity for Shred, maybe. Let's see if I can catch that with the Jaeger cam. That looks like a good run through the chicane. Opens up the gap slightly to a second. Good throttle control on our final turn. Drantis as well. Sorry, buddy, didn't want to curse you. Half a second there. I think that chicane, it was just a bit too much on the entry. Has to push now to stay within the striking distance against Shred. So we are roughly at the halfway mark, lap 14, and Beetlejuice very steady at the front, 3.5 seconds, also fastest lap of the race so far. River Ruckus also very consistent lap time, 36.6, 7, 5, 7, 6, 6, 7. That's clockwork. That's a German precision. Richie 3 seconds to gap to Speed Ace. We'll be pleased to see that gap now, and pretty sure we will see a position swap between Speed Ace and Hudson very soon. Hudson is an impressive compact drive so far. He would have given those CLR drivers at the top a very well fight, I reckon, with the pace. Now it's 11 seconds behind, and 3.5 seconds the gap to Richie. Can he get at least back onto the podium? We will see probably now the precision swap. Oh, no, we don't. Oh, do we? We do. Oh, that's Hudson with the fast line in the rain conditions. So up to P4, Speed Ace in P5. Shred under 2 seconds that gap now. Can he challenge Speed Ace? Maybe for that spot. Trent is in P7, over 2 seconds now. The gap a little bit left right movement with that car. Also a very, very wide line, the exit of the arena. Paradise doing the same. Has a 3-second gap to Saitam in P9. Then we have a little bit of a gap between the bottom 3, Jimmy, Crazy Tough, and Main Onion, P10, 11, and 12. So where is that closest battle between the teams? It's probably still Shred and Speed Ace. So 2 seconds between Speed Ace, Shred, and Trentis roughly. So we'll stay with the Canadian driver, see how those gaps evolve. Speed Ace with a good one. Maybe he can stay with Hudson and bring that gap down to Richie. It's still 3.6, 3.7 now, but yeah, roughly the same. 36.7 for Richie. That 37 maybe due to a penalty on lap 14. It is. And this is very impressive driving so far. Beetlejuice and River. Beetlejuice 4.5 seconds. And Hudson with a good middle sector opened up that gap to his teammate Speed Ace, roughly 2. And Shred also within 2 seconds roughly. What can Gr.A do? Losing a little bit of time now, 2.7, 2.8. Just needs one little mistake. And the gap between finalized and Saitam also stays roughly the same. 3 seconds between the both. And Jimmy, Crazy Taff, and Onion. 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2-3 seconds separating those 3 drivers. So I suggest we go a little bit on board with Beetlejuice and see what he's doing to get those consistent, crazy fast lap times. So using the track width, interesting. He's not afraid of the wet curbs or the wet track edges. I see a little bit of traction control assist for the acceleration. Very, very smooth so far. Let's watch the chicane. Keeping it in second gear. Very minimal inputs on the wheel. Using the curb also for the entry of the final turn. Quick downshift to first gear in that final turn. Alright. That's another 36. 36.5. So well done. Let's stay a bit choose for the first turn as well. So wide entry. Second gear stays in second, probably uplift to third, maybe? Or the exit? No. Keeps it in second. Throttle control is key. Into the left hander we go. So you saw it, now you can replicate it if you're wondering how to do it with the current leader and also fastest lap of that race so far. And he definitely knows what he's doing. Have a look at those gaps. Hudson slightly catching up with Ritchie under 3 seconds now. Still 10 laps to go. That podium is still possible for Hudson, I guess. The Speed Ace and Shred, the 2 North American drivers, very evenly matched now over the last couple of minutes, so roughly 2 seconds the gap between the two. Trent is a little bit in no man's land, 5 seconds to the other drivers. I lost a little bit and looks like finalized. This has found a little bit of another gear, gaining on Trentis and also opening up that gap to Satam in P9. Jimmy and Tracy Taft there, close again. Main Onion with nearly 5 seconds, so this will be a tough challenge now for the CLR driver to catch those 2 BFS drivers. So after a hectic opening couple of minutes, now the race has settled down a little bit. But it's quite demanding in those conditions to stay focused. Every moment there's the possibility to lose that car, to get a track limit penalty. So that's the beauty and the cruelty of rain racing. Did we just miss? No, we didn't miss a new fastest lap, but Beetlejuice is relentlessly opening the gap to the other drivers. Nearly 6 seconds now. Remember, with that consistency, that's also what you get with practice, of course, and this helps you to, in the end, score some good points, some really good points for the team. P2, Ritchie, he can be really quick, but sometimes lacks a little bit of that consistency we've seen from River. So 36.4, a really strong lap, and then the odd 37 in there. Hudson also with 36s pretty much all the way. And high 36s, mid to low 37s for Speed Ace and Shred. So also in a very good rhythm. Can Shred get into the slipstream range for the last 7 laps? Looks like a good run through the chicane, gaining a little bit of a wiggle for Speed Ace, I think. So Shred with the opportunity. Hudson with the new fastest lap of that race, 36.0.34. That's just a little bit quicker than Beetlejuice. He had a 36.0.5 or 6, something like that. So will we see an improvement? Will we see a 35 happening? Is it worth the risk? I think you have to nail that final chicane if you want to go for a 35, and if you don't nail it, you get a penalty. So not sure, but it looks like Shred is getting closer and closer. Oh, a snap oversteer, that cost him a little bit of time. Maybe 1.6, 1.7. Yellow flag situation happened. Oh, Hudson. Oh, and then a bit of unlucky rejoin. What happened to Hudson? Sorry, we need to put on the replay, but it's crucial again. Just too late on the brakes, and then hit barrier, and then the rejoin. I think that you cannot really blame the other drivers there to avoid that hit. So it's again comeback time for Hudson. The fastest lap, he was purple again, and then just overshoot that hairpin, the braking point. So back to the drawing board. It's half a second. He has a massive run already coming out of that final turn. Shred going semi-defensive, middle of the track. Wasn't close enough. It gets a good run. Shred the inside line. Hudson aims it around the outside. What a move again. So we also give replays for great overtakes, of course, not just spins. So Shred very deep into the first turn, and then a move around the outside. So well played, both of them. And no, Hudson again goes deep into the hairpin. It's not over yet, so they have a fight for that position. It's side-by-side racing. This time we have Shred going around the outside. We'll come back to that battle. We have to see what happened to Hudson. Again goes a little bit too deep, and Shred nearly follows the ZFS BFS driver. Raced for both of the teams, so sorry for being confused. But yeah, again an unlucky moment. 31 minute 44, and it's 38. So on the bright side, Hudson has a nice little battle with Shred now. Again, this time Shred goes deep into the first turn. So we see history repeating itself within that race. So let's have a look at it once again. Way too late on the brakes in those conditions. Avoids the gravel though, but loses all of the momentum and loses that position again. So it's P6 for Shred, and we just spotted that it was close. And there was contact between the two drivers. So we go not getting out of the replay loop again. So what happened? Oh, Shred again, way too late. Hits Hudson, instantly waits. But there was again an unlucky moment for the drivers. They go side by side into the chicane. So it's maybe now the fatigue is kicking in. The long time now, nearly 40 minutes driving in those heavy wet conditions. So probably at some point you just lose your focus for a little bit. And we go once again. Hudson looking inside outside. As again Shred going deep maybe. Will he get it stopped this time? No, again a bit too deep over the marbles, and it's Hudson again with the position. So it's entertaining to watch. So, but those little mistakes now. It's probably very very tiring now to stay in the loop. Oh, let's have a look at the positions. Beetlejuice is still in the lead, 6 seconds. The gap to Marcus in P2 and 5 seconds to Richie in P3. Another 6 seconds to Speed Ace in 4th. Triantis he was like, yeah, if you two fight and make mistakes, I'll take P5 all day long. Hudson and in P6, Shred in P7 finalized. In P8, Saitam closed that gap inside the slipstream range. 1.2 seconds it is the gap. Jimmy P10, 2 seconds that gap to Crazy Taff in P11 and 6.4 seconds to Main Onion. So let's go to this fight again. So they're still close. Coming round the final turn again. The car going sideways. And we also have a finalized versus Saitam. That's a second. Braking again for turn number 1 this time. They get it stopped by the looks. What finalized and Saitam. Yeah, steady, steady. And looks like Hudson and Shred might be catching Gr.A. Lap 25 out of 27, so approaching the closing stages. Someone had a big moment. I think that was Shred. Came out sideways. Whoa, what a catch it was. Avoided the spin, the damage. Lost contact now, 1.4 to Hudson. What about finalized? And Saitam, it's 1.1. So Saitam is slowly getting into the real striking distance. It's a second. When they cross the line, and it's 2 more laps to go. Not really close gaps that we could expect to move into turn number 1. There's 2 more laps to go for the drivers. Beetlejuice in that lead, 8 seconds. River Ruckus in P2 and Richie in the 3rd position. Speed Ace, then P4 for BFS, Grantis P5, Hudson P6, we saw that. Shred P7 for CLR finalized. In 8th position, Saitam P9, Shibby Rabbit in P10, Crazy Taff close behind in P11, and Main Onion in P12. So where to go? Don't think Shred can catch Hudson and Grantis just on pace. Need to rely on a mistake, and with the same for Saitam versus finalized. So then we go to Beetlejuice, who starts that final lap, another low 36. Then on that final lap, River Ruckus as well, starting that final lap with nearly 9 seconds behind. And Richie another 4 seconds in P3. So next up will be Speed Ace to start the final lap. Drentis and Hudson coming round that final turn. And Shred as well keeps that gap roughly at 2 seconds. Finalized versus Saitam under 2 seconds. Saitam not within that slipstream range for now, so can finalize, keep it clean through the first turn. Yes, he can by the looks. Keeps the gap. 1.67 roughly. Also Jimmy, Crazy Taff and Onion on that final lap race. So we go to leader, comes through the penalty zone, approaching the back straight, the little kink, and then approaches the chicane for the final time, and a steady run through that chicane. And Beetlejuice will most likely bring home that victory for CLR. Comes round that final corner, and Well done. Very, very strong performance. 36.9 to finish. Victory for Beetlejuice and CLR. River Rockers in P2 for CLR. Also consistency was key for the German driver, and Richie finished the podium for CLR as well. 1, 2, 3 for Community Racing. Then Speed Ace for BFS in P4. Grantis on his debut with a P5. Well done, buddy. Great race. Hudson P6, the unlucky driver of the day award goes to Hudson. Shred in P7. Finalized finishes in P8. Saipan then in P9 with 3 drivers remaining on track. Jimmy in P10 on his debut as well. It is P10. P11 goes to Taff. And Main Onion finishes the race for CLR in P12. Well done, everybody. So tricky conditions. Gonna save that replay. Save the results. Alright, so let me go to the information and I'll do the point update for that race. See the points, but 1, 2, 3 in qualifying and race should be victory for CLR. For Beetlejuice with the win, River Rockers in P2 and Richie P3. CLR, then Speed Ace P4, BFS followed by Grantis. P5, Hudson in P6 with the fastest lap. The race. And lap. P7 for Shred. 8 for finalized. This and then on the second page, where is my second page? Somewhere here. Oh. I need to write this better. Here's Saitama P9. Jimmy in 10th. Easy F11 and Onion 12. Alright, so I'll bring up this course in a moment, and the scores says 72 for CLR, 44 for BFS. So of course the positions and the results will be double checked. This was like a quick edit, and it's okay to me, no positions doubled or whatever, so that yeah, looks like a CLR victory. Well done to both teams. Very impressive driving in tricky conditions. Yeah, I think we cannot wait for the rematch this season to see what the BFS will come up with for that match then later on in the season. Here we go. Finishing results once again: Beetlejuice, River Rockers, and Richie 1, 2, 3 for CLR. Then the next 3 drivers for BFS: Speed Ace, Grantis, and Hudson. P7, P8 goes to CLR again, Shred, and finalized. Then we have 3 BFS drivers: Satan, Jimmy, Rabbit, and Crazy Taff. And P12 2E. Can I say already former Raidmaster Main Onion? Probably a bit too harsh, but I know he's like not has the time lately to get onto the game, and shout out for competing as always. So yeah, shout out to both teams, great racing, and hope to see you soon next month here on the CTC channel for match day number 5. If you want to see more of the racing action, of course, you can go to the ZFS YouTube channel for that ZFS versus AHR race. Leave a like, say hello, go to the real life, whatever. And you can also go over to the Dream Team Racing YouTube channel, where we have the TCR versus Project One Racing X match also covered with live comms. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, take care, see you soon, bye.